Hello.
Hi, guys.
Hey,
Hello.
are you on the way to the airport now?
Hello. As always, John, yes. It's not getting funny anymore.
Was it ever?
Yeah, I mean, I had like 20 flights in the last 3 months, so it's no longer fun.
Remember those days when I had to do that? Thank God I don't have to do it now.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear that you're going back to Dubai. Like you had just gone back home. You just left, and now you're back again.
Yep, for this chess
Live
thing
there.
that starts tomorrow. Yeah.
A little short on participants today. What's the deal? Oh, no. All right.
They're all buying the remaining pieces of the chess
Yeah.
collection, I assume. There are just a few left, so they're rushing to buy those.
Oh, I'm already getting messages. What is the meeting now? Yes, it's the meetings now. It's the same time every week, dude. Hold on. Of course. Every week, same time. We're making fun of you, Chuck. I guess let's wait for Chuck because he's also going to bring one more person from Quick App Ninja to the call. So we're going to need him. So let's wait one more minute. Sorry for the delay. All righty. Well, we just lost one presenter. Okay. I guess.
Quick app can't come.
No, it's just. I guess they'll present next week. I guess they mixed up the time of when we start. Not much we can do about it. Anyway, all right. Well, we'll skip over it. Right. Okay. Let us begin. Welcome, everyone. Everscale community call number 81. Thank you for coming as always. And we have a great lineup in store. We have a great lineup in store, but not everybody was able to make it. So look, let me start by saying, I know I sound like an absolute robot, repetitive and annoying when I say this, but please turn on your cameras, unless you're, like Alex, if you're driving or something like that. It's really good for YouTube hits and it's really good for social media marketing. I think everybody knows that. So look, come on, we're not going to judge you. Just turn your cameras on and try to keep them on. I mean, if you have to go to the bathroom or something like that, you can turn them off, but nevertheless. Please save your questions until every presenter, or not. Until every presenter is finished. And for the people watching us on YouTube, welcome. Please leave a comment or a question in the thread. And I see her, so there's one there already. And we'll get to it at the end of our call. All right, for me, really short, just we did send out some tokens yesterday. They went out to contest winners who have vesting, which is NFT marketplace and Chrome extensions. There was also the Galaxy partnership that got their monthly vesting tokens, and that was a very small distribution. And I think we're going to talk about tokens in just a minute here. But we do have some really cool projects that either started or are just starting. And I think that's going to pretty much be the major focus of today's call. But as always, before that, we're going to have tech updates. And Mitja also would like to say a few words about giver reform, which is important. So Mitja, I'm going to kind of let you start with the tech updates and just sort of segue right into giver reform. And you can go ahead whenever you're ready.
Yeah, okay. Tech updates first. So as you know, we are fully concentrated on moving the network to the Rustnodes, and we did very good progress in our internal testing. It's almost finished. There will be nodes from we just I'm waiting for everything to work really perfect and that the testing finishing completely before I release the nodes. There will be nodes for the mainnet upgrade to the validators, and this will include the requirements for the node, the description of the process, of the transition process, and what you need to do. Now, we're still well kind of in the time frame that I have said like months ago, that if everything goes right, we're still on track to move the mainnet to Rustnodes by the end of this month, basically next 10 days. It will depend on also on activity of the validators, obviously, so I cannot kind of I don't know that. I mean, I cannot predict that part, but other than that, from the technical standpoint, we are well on track on finishing our part within the time and moving on. Now we also there was a lot of talking about the memory requirements for the Rust node, which is kind of higher than the C++ node, and so I want to comment on that, maybe just 30 seconds. So first of all, we are making something now in terms of like the additional refactoring, which will go on within this update, that will make the memory on par with C++ node, the memory usage. But you have to remember that the Rust nodes is like many times over in terms of performance capacity comparing to C++ nodes. And so even if in idle state, they will consume the same amount of RAM, the fact that C++ node does not consume more RAM means only one thing: it cannot sustain more TPS. And that's the reason. So yeah, on 150 TPS, which C++ node can do, you need only 32 gigabytes of RAM. If C++ node would be capable of sustaining 10,000 TPS, believe me, it wouldn't be ending in 32 gigabytes. And over time, if you have more and more transactions, there may be some accidents like what happened before, where if network stalls for some time, then you simply don't have enough RAM to unpack, certain, cut chain structures or some other structures. And also when the state of the contracts in general is growing with more transactions, and obviously if you have more capacity and you have more transactions, the state will grow faster. So even if 32 gigabytes is okay now, it definitely won't be okay within a year. And then we will need to painfully upgrade the nodes again, and so on and so forth. So therefore, the requirements of the Rust nodes in terms of memory will go at minimum 128 gigabytes. And that 128 gigabytes is just because it costs nothing, really. The difference between 62 or 64 gigabytes and 128 gigabytes in today's data centers is really about like 30 euros, a little more per month. So we're talking about like 300 euros a year, a little more for this. And I don't think this amount of money should be taken into consideration when you're talking about safety of the network. So I really like, if you look at any other, the requirement for Solana I mean, no, come on, guys. I mean, this is it's nothing really. And nobody is making a big deal about this. So, and we shouldn't. Like, are we scalable blockchain or are we cheapest to run blockchain? There's two completely different, directions to go. Like if you need the cheapest hardware to run, you go to Ethereum. They have Raspberry Pi, implementations of the client. You can run it there and be a validator. You can't collate, by the way, of course, this is a big lie as well, because you can't collate blocks on Raspberry Pi with the Ethereum 2.0. So just to be very clear on that, you can only validate. You cannot collate blocks. And because for collating blocks, you cannot run stateless client. Right? So only stateless client can run on Raspberry Pi. So this is also a lie. Like, don't believe everything you heard. Like, it's a marketing slogan. Okay, everyone can run a validate. No, not everyone can run a validate. Everyone can run a stateless client. A stateful client you cannot run on Raspberry Pi for the Ethereum. You will need a huge machine, which will with a huge amount of memory, which much more than what we are saying. So, that's just my 2 cents about the memory. So yeah, expect in coming couple of days maybe the release notes, and be ready to have Rustnode. You will have to have a Rustnode running in parallel, so you won't be able to just stop your C++ node and then start the Rustnode, because obviously if we do that, and all of us will do that, the network will just stop. So we don't want that to happen, right? So, follow the procedures correctly. We will also work directly with validators over private chats to ensure the easiest transactions. But other than that, shouldn't be a problem. Moving to the next topic that I want to present, and I will publish it on the forum. I will share a screen now. This is my proposal, which is called Public Keywords Reform Proposal, and I will just very briefly go over it. So too long, didn't read kind of stuff, I just read that. Mistakes were made. I'm talking about mistakes in distribution of public funds. Let's try not to make new ones by blaming decentralization on contests. Let's move on. Let's kill subgovernances. Let's kill partnerships. Apply contests when necessary. Apply direct funding when appropriate, and create a decentralized government fund to support decentralization and entrepreneurship with everything we have. Basically, my proposal is to immediately stop. And by the way, there was a proposal by Dmitry Gachko on the forum, but it just stopped short of, it basically said, let's kill all subgovernances. I agree with that. Subgovernances was a bad idea from the beginning. Actually, I never supported this thing, because I don't believe in delegation. But the community wanted it. The community thought that subgovernances are good stuff to bring more developers. And actually, some of the subgovernances made really good, to the network. And I'm talking about primarily DeFi subgovernance, formal verification subgovernance, portions of work that DevEx subgovernance did, and some others which I'm maybe not aware of. But there was definitely some successes in the work of subgovernances. And then there were a lot of non-successes, and there were some scams. And the price we pay for good part is too heavy if you compare it with all the stuff we have. And there is I'm just going over this, not repeating everything. I'm quoting Vitalik, basically saying more or less the same shit, and about the possibility of actually fully collusion-resistant governance mechanisms in general on chain and stuff like that, which is a problematic maybe. And again, I'm completely against delegation of powers is not a good thing. So my proposal is, again, to cancel subgovernances, all future subgovernances. The current budgets of subgovernances should be put into the tasks of developing of infrastructure projects that cannot be commercialized by itself. Like the node development cannot be commercialized. Some system smart contracts development cannot be commercialized. We can declare these as a public goods, and we should be very, very carefully in what we declare public goods. And what we declare public goods is something that cannot be commercialized, but is absolutely necessary. Like, it's not that let's make something, let's just declare it a public good because it's good for the public. No, let's declare it public good because it cannot be commercialized. Everything that can be commercialized should be commercialized and not paid off by public. I just say cancel and stop any partnership proposals because they, and again, there were useful partnerships, but vast majority of these partnerships, from my perspective, is absolutely a waste of money. And we do much more in bringing in developers and bringing in partners when the network is strong. And the network is strong when you have the strong economics of the network. When you distribute public funds right and left, you don't make economics stronger. You make economics weaker. And while you can attract some partnerships, you will attract weaker partnerships, actually. Because if you see what's happening with Ethereum and the gas price of the Ethereum, and you see how many projects are starting there, there is a reason why they're starting there, right? Because the gas price is offset by something else. And if you don't have the right economics in our projects, this will not be offset. It doesn't matter if your price is zero. If you don't get any value, it doesn't matter, right? So instead, I propose to create a decentralized governance fund. And the decentralized governance fund is really the fund of funds. It's really something that is just a fund which is there to support entrepreneurship. And I think, and I'm writing about that, I think the only thing we need to support with public goods is entrepreneurship, not developers, not usage, not users, not use cases, just entrepreneurs. And of course, the big, I mean, the reason for that is just because only entrepreneurs creating value. Nobody else. Developers do not create value. Developers create code. Users do not create value. Users are using something, something that entrepreneurs created. Entrepreneurs in the economy, entrepreneurs are the ones who create value. And we need to support entrepreneurship. How do we do that? Well, there is a well-established mechanism of how to do that, which mechanism were established many, many years ago. We don't need to create anything new here. It's called funds, venture funding. Venture funding that supports entrepreneurs. So the question is, how do you decide who to support? And again, we, as a public givers, as a public money, we cannot decide that. We don't have tools to decide that. There must be a private money which decides where to go. It's what's called capitalism, really. It's a capital that needs to decide where it should be deployed. Public goods are really bad in picking up entrepreneurs and supporting entrepreneurs. And so again, the model here is that to take a public fund and support, basically tag along with money, private money that goes towards certain entrepreneur. And I just suggest that we create a contest for funds, basically people who can propose a structure with a private funding that will go towards projects on our network. And we pick these funds and we support them on top of the private funding with the public money. And that's a model of Gitcoin. In Gitcoin, if there is a project and the people support that project with the tokens, then Gitcoin will match that with the quadratic funding from the public fund. So basically, if you have a private funding of some project of, I don't know, 500,000 ever, then the public, like decentralized governance fund, will match this 500,000 with another. Doesn't matter what the function will be, linear or quadratic. It doesn't matter. We can add on top 500,000, so it will be a million, or we can add on top of it 25 million, whatever, to 2,500,000, sorry, and so on and so forth. So this is the general proposal. I will post it on the forum. Now, of course, the last thing, who votes? Who votes for this funds? Well, I don't think the governance as it is right now can actually do that. I think the only one who can really do that, and of course that was, by the way, my view all the time, that no governance or like chosen ones should be distributing public funds. The ones who should distribute the public funds are only the people who actually have vested interest, meaning have funds, have ever. So this contests, the jury for this contest need to be people who have at least 1 million ever, and they get 1 vote for every 1 million ever that they have holding on the network. That's it. That's my proposal. I will publish it on the forum. You know, I spoke with some people in the community. There is generally positive response to that proposal, and it's not related to DeFi Alliance again, because I don't think we need to, as a governance, as a token holders, we don't need to delegate everything into some one structure to support everything. The DeFi Alliance has their own like goals and their own structures, and it's really a corporate run organization that has, the funds that we supported them with the funds, and there is a fund there also which will support entrepreneurs and all of that. That has nothing to do with the other activities. We should have more of this. We should allow and support investors who will come to this network and support entrepreneurs building on this network. And the only thing we can do really is just support them with tokens, with some tokens on top of the money they bring. And that, I think this is more or less the only thing we really can do. Thank you. Ron, you want to say something?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, a couple things. The first is, well, I just wanted to sort of make a comment and say, when you started off saying that mistakes were made, yeah, absolutely. I think it was inevitable to some extent. I mean, we were.
This proposal is not about finger pointing or
no, yeah, exactly. That's sort of my point. That's what I was getting to, is that it was what it was, and we had to find some kind of way to start the network, and we figured out a plan, and to some extent I would actually argue that to some extent it did work, because it created a community. We are where we are, we're listed, there are a lot of things going on, but it's very far from perfection. So the idea that we screwed up somehow, I think is inaccurate. I think we did what we did and we had to do it. But it definitely needs to change to something a little more, I don't know what the word would be, formal, where I agree with the concept of no more freebies, just because it doesn't work, and we've seen it. The second thing that I wanted to say, and I think you mentioned it at the end, was what DeFi Alliance is doing, and I guess there's a concept of a foundation being formed. Which how do you respond to that? I mean, I know what you said about your opinion, but I think that the concept of a foundation that can also do some of the things that you're talking about is also relevant.
The foundation is the idea of the foundation is basically to interface with the outside world, right? So that's why like me personally, I supported the foundation because for our outside world, the face of our network and the representation of our network against this outside parties must be somehow, acceptable by these parties. And we cannot and when we tried to come up as a decentralized structure, which everyone can talk by the name, doesn't work because we facing organizations, facing like funds and exchanges and stuff like that. And for this, there should be a face, and the foundation, just as name, is a good interface to this outside parties. They understand what foundation means, and they can interact easily, and the things can be done. Okay, so this is the main purpose of creation of the foundation and the name of the foundation. And by the way, DeFi Alliance is reiterating that all the time, themselves, that that doesn't mean we're surrendering our values and our principles of decentralization. So, and that does not preclude us from having, decentralized activities as we did before. And because this network must be decentralized still. Decentralization is the most important still. I don't think, again, I write it in the first, I think, sentence. We should not blame decentralization. We blame decentralization that we don't understand what we're doing here, really. It's a turning the network into a corporation never works. And I understand people are trying to say like, but Solana or but Near or whatever. They only say that because like there is a token price, right? And well, if Solana or Near or anybody else will not be decentralized enough, there won't be activities in this network, and it will turn like just another whatever corporate run network like XRP, sorry, this stuff. So
Maybe.
yeah,
don't confuse decentralization with money.
Yes, exactly. Like decentralization is the value of any blockchain, which is like public blockchain. If you don't have decentralization, the public blockchain, then it's not a public blockchain anymore. And then sooner or later, everything. But right now, people putting money behind decentralized network by far more than they're putting by centralized ones. And the only reason why they're putting them under centralized one, and I mean Solana, for example, is that because Solana actually and Near actually claiming decentralization. If Solana and Near would say, all validators are controlled by us, the money supply is controlled by us, and and everything is controlled by us, and believe me, nobody would be investing in them. Doesn't matter what the speed of this network is. Right? And yeah. We have Binance Chain, which is an opposite example of that, right? And of course, Binance Chain is just an AWS of the, of the blockchain. And you can argue, but listen, here, there are some people that are, employing their products there and so on and so forth. Yeah, because Binance has a marketing thing, which is centralized exchange, built centralized network, and they have users. And the Coinbase has users, so what? I mean, again, there are some things that we're just falling in saying we're somehow related to the blockchain, but this has nothing to do with blockchain. It's simply different. It's just a corporation. Yeah, there is a Google also, which is far larger than Binance. So what do we do now? Becoming a shareholding corporation or something? So I don't think, again, I don't think we can surrender decentralization, because then we just all go home.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, I agree. Never mind, the shitcoins has a question.
Hey guys, I'm not sure if it's a question, comment, philosophical meandering. I mean, first up, I'd contest you on the title of it, Mitja. If anything, mistakes were made is, I don't know, it's superfluous, it's an overreact. Perhaps experiments were held, might be a slightly less contentious title for what you're trying to say. But just kind of coincidentally, I was doing a podcast with the good people of Hacker Noon last night. They're doing a new series, Blockchain for Beginners. I've sort of come more to that later. And yeah, essentially, I was asked, so what is kind of, you know, who are the people in cryptocurrency? And trying to break it down. There are two types of people in our world, essentially. You have long-haired hippies, you know, like me, who, and then you have entrepreneurs and moneymakers. And I said it's kind of like a symbiotic relationship, almost parasitic, maybe, you could say. And she said, oh, what, like all these entrepreneurs parasiting off the back of the hippies? I don't, well, no, actually, you know, I'm the one planting trees whilst they're making business plans. And, you know, the entrepreneurs are, you know, it's symbiotic. And I think, I don't know whether I'm agreeing with you or slightly disagreeing with you, Mitja, but yeah, I know I'll give it a good read through. And yeah, obviously it's going to be on the forums. So yeah, awesome. Don't know where to take it from there, but that's my meanderings.
Well, this has nothing to do with hippie. I like hippies, you know, and it's just nothing against hippies, man. I'm just saying, when you want to build a town, you need someone to you know, to build the fucking buildings, you know, and roads, and you know, before a hippie can, you know, lay down the park and sing to the flowers, there should be someone who will actually plant that bloody park.
Yeah, you need the capitalists to pay the gardeners.
Exactly.
And anarchy and decentralization are a sliding scale.
Well, I don't agree with that. I mean, for me, decentralized finance is something that actually is bringing like the anarchism to the money. Like, that's why we call it crypto anarchists, right? So this is for the first time we can create stuff, we can build stuff without interacting with things we don't like big corporations, like governance, and all this, you know, structures. I view it like that. But what's wrong with entrepreneurs? By the way, you can be entrepreneur and hippie, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Just look at the marijuana industry.
Well, who would do such a thing, Ron? We don't condone that type of thing.
I meant in the US anyway, sorry.
Oh yeah, it's legal. Yeah, all right, I'll let you off.
Okay, we have also a question from Alex Novikov. How are you? Long time no see, please.
Yeah, hello. I have a question for Mitja. He told us that it's impossible to. So we need some formal space, like organization, to be presented on the exchanges and to connect with other organizations and so on. But it's not like this. Bitcoin doesn't have any official.
I'm with you on that.
Right.
I'm totally with you on that. Yeah.
and I want to ask, and we before 1 year ago we wanted to be like a Bitcoin, like decentralized internet, and if we came right now that we need some organization to present ourselves to other world, does it mean that the projects fail? Does it mean this?
No, I think that first of all, you're mistaking. This question shouldn't be directed to me. I just said what the logic was behind, I think, creation of foundation by DeFi Alliance. I didn't say my view on that. I just said that this was the logic behind that. I just read the proposal right from them, and that's how I understand it. And I spoke with, of course, with members of DeFi Alliance. I totally agree with you on that. Maybe we don't need it at all. Maybe we don't need exchanges. Maybe we don't need it. But the problem is that many people in our community say, like, listen, I mean, there is all this decentralized stuff, and then there are networks like Solana and Near and all crap around that, which grew like that and that amount, and we didn't grow, and this is a problem. And they view, like, a lot of people just don't want to invest in us. The entrepreneurs are not coming here because we don't grow as a financial base, and we will lose the competition, and so on and so forth. And of course, this is complete corporate talk. And this also, investor talk, because investors want return on their money like as soon as possible. So if they see like, where can I deploy the money? I can deploy money in Solana and get X, 100 in a year, and I'm deploying money in like Freeton in Everscale, and it doesn't grow for a year or even go down. I mean, what does it say? I'm not going to deploy the capital in there, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I mean, Alex, if you're ready to wait for 10 years, then it's fine. But there are people in our community who don't want to wait for 10 years.
I can just add something to that, just as an anecdotal kind of thing. In Malta this week, obviously talking to hundreds and people, the amount of times I was asked the question, so, what or how do I invest in you guys? And it was like, And it's a very simple, like you say, there's two sides to the people here, and that's a very complicated answer in our end at the minute.
Yeah, I think that again, I think what Mitja said is that the full decentralization of the network has nothing to do with creating some kind of a pod or some kind of a mechanism that attracts investors. I think that would only help and probably actually make it happen quicker, because maybe, okay, again, going back to what I said originally, we had to start somewhere. But you start somewhere, you get to a point, you realize, okay, well, we got here, but we walked. It would be great if we had a bus, and it'd be great if we had a metro rail, and it'd be great if we had, but those things don't come, they don't appear by themselves. And if you want to rely on, Neanderthal style evolution, like Mitja said, if you want to wait 10 years where people will just build it by hand, okay, that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is to create incentive for somebody who has the money and has the wherewithal and the business experience to come in, put their own money up, expecting, of course, some kind of return. But the town still grows organically, right? I mean, we're not giving up the, again, it's a proposal. Right now, it's a proposal and we're discussing it. Like, Alex, nobody said this is what it's going to be. People might vote against it.
By the way, my proposal has nothing to do with DeFi Alliance and the foundation, right? What I propose created something completely different, right? So what you asked is not, question to me, really. My proposal as a decentralized foundation is just basically to say, if there are someone who wants to come and invest in the entrepreneurs on our network, because we still have some public tokens, we can help them by giving them tokens on top of the tokens they give to entrepreneurs, for a simple reason: to like have the more funds going to entrepreneurs, like to basically to create more of the right investment. That's all. It's just because it just affects the size. It doesn't affect anything else. We're not deciding on who to give the funds. We're not deciding on how much to give the funds. It's all private money who decide, capital. That's the proposal. It's done before. It's how Gitcoin operates. It's how the whole Israeli high-tech industry was constructed, like that, with the government supporting American VCs coming to Israel and giving money to Israeli entrepreneurs, and they matched the dollar by dollar for every investment that these VCs did. And what it has done is created the second largest entrepreneurship industry in the world for the country, which is number 100 something in terms of the number of people living there. So it definitely works. It's not a silver bullet, and it shouldn't be applied just bluntly on like that. But it definitely mechanism which will help.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that Ron told us about that we we will still have a distributed network, and I am glad that he mentioned that that we will still have a distributed network. But Freeton was not about only the distributed network. It was
Everscale.
about the distributed governance.
Yes,
Distributed governance.
distributed governance, which was never implemented. That's the point. I'm actually
moving to that direction.
I am
It was
actually
right direction.
Yeah, it was right direction, but was never implemented. And here I write about that. The BFTG paper described the way how to create a non-corrupted mechanism for distribution of public goods. We never finished implementation of the BFTG system itself. And this is telling. This should be an indication of the difference between entrepreneurship efficiency and public funding efficiency in general, right? I mean, ironically, this whole process of how the community viewed BFTG and went on to implement it on public funds is telling, where in November 2021, it's a year since we, with Andrei Lashin, released the paper, and it was a subgovernance with a lot of money that was created to implement that paper, and it's still not being implemented, Alex. There were no entrepreneurs came, no community came and said, listen, I mean, we will do that. You know, community, if they would be really interested in that, would be just coming and saying, we will do it anyway, you know, without money. But we also paid. Never been implemented. Isn't that something? Isn't it? No, it's not. It's not. No, there is nothing to say, Alex, to that. There is nothing to say. It's just fact. Yeah, of course, I didn't go and implement it myself. That if I would do that, it would be implemented. I purposely didn't. I helped BFTG. I helped create the subgovernance. I brought some people there. I asked people to help. I went reasonably in terms of like helping here and there with contests and stuff, reviewing roadmaps, talking to developers. I did some, but I didn't want to do that myself. I thought if this is what's important for the community should stand up and do it. And we're giving money also to do that. What does it prove?
Yeah, what does it prove?
It proves that the public money is inefficient like that. The only people who create value, entrepreneurs, they weren't there. There was no single entrepreneur in this group who came and did it. Why? Because actually it's very hard to see how you can make money out of BFTG system. And we never proposed anything like that. We never said people who will run BFTG will become billionaires. We never said that. And guess what? No people came.
I think just to step in a bit, Refred, before the gloves come off, do we think we should move this discussion to the forum with your proposal, buddy, and give other speakers some time? I can see Ron waiting to jump in there. He knows I'm
answering questions.
I know.
It's an interesting discussion, and it's a good discussion, and it's a good discussion to have in public, which we're always going to be a community. We're always going to discuss it, but that this is good. This is good stuff. Something tells me we're going to actually have a lot more hits on this particular video than others. It's very good, but we do need to move on. So thank you, Mitja. Thank you for your proposal. Thank you, everybody, for your comments and questions. And yeah, let's take it to the forum. We're also trying to develop Discord pretty heavily. I think the idea is maybe moving a lot of the stuff that we discuss on the forum to Discord at some point, but this is still premature. We're just, yeah, let's discuss it. So the seed has been planted, and let's see what happens with it. Yeah. And let's move on to our next presenter. So there's actually a really, really cool project out there. It's called Cefion, Cefion with a C. And it's a new messenger app with groups, with a wallet, a scheduler, lots of cool stuff. And I'm sure if the surf people were here, they'd be like, what? But nevertheless, it's a project, and it's out there. And we have Anastasia with us from Cefion. Anastasia, hello. If you would, Can you please tell us about your project?
Hello.
Hello.
Говорят, можете рассказать нам про свой проект?
Yeah,
Да,
it's
да, можем рассказать про проект.
Yes, sure. We can speak about our project.
Может, у вас есть какие-то конкретные вопросы по данному проекту?
Please, нет.
right. So it does have to be in English, but yes, please go ahead. We see you. We're listening.
Yes. So we are saying probably. Do you have any specific questions?
About no, I thought you were waiting for you to present your.
Мы думаем, что можете вы включить сейчас?
You could share your screen if you have a presentation.
Можете
Sure.
поделиться экраном. Yes. And
Okay. Are you
And
connecting through another device?
might be.
Maybe they're in waiting room.
We lost you there, Anastasia. Let's give her a minute. Well, how about this? Why don't we move on to the next presentation? When you guys figure out the technical difficulties, we can get right back to you. There's no particular order. So
okay. So you come back to us after the next speaker, right?
yeah, yep, absolutely.
После следующего спикера к нам вернуться.
Absolutely. Yep. So you have about maybe 5 minutes or so, yeah, to figure it out. Thank you. Right. So I think this call would be pointless without talking about ChessNFT, right? Which dropped today. We had a sale. I bought 2 pieces. I was hoping for what were they? The legendary pieces. Didn't get those. Hoping for the unique pieces. I didn't get those. I got 2 common pieces, but oh well, I guess you can't win them all. Anyway, ChessNFT is off and running. Who wants to start? Alex, Joanne?
I think I'll start. I think Alex is in transit. Maybe he's going through security or something right now at the airport. I think he had to drop off. But if you are here, you could jump in anytime. I don't mind. But yeah, I am actually still waiting for mine right now. They're still being minted. I'm frustrated. I don't know if you could see it. But
Which wallet did you use?
Sorry?
Which wallet did you use?
Surf.
I got mine right away.
I know.
Oh, not right away.
But I saw that the first people, because I've been like on this nonstop, like, okay, I'm gonna be the first. I've been kind of obsessed over this project. So I heard Konstantin had mentioned that some of the first people who bought and are minting, it's taking too long for some reason, and they've figured out whatever reason it is, and they've already fixed it, and so it should be fine anytime. But I don't know, fingers crossed. I'm very curious what I have, and I would definitely share it, because I've been seeing in the communities that people are sharing their pieces, and some of them are just absolutely beautiful. I'm actually really impressed. You know, it's not like one of those rock NFTs with laser eyes or something. This is actual art. So it's beautiful. The team has done a really good job creating it. And now I can understand why we had to push the agenda last night. We had to push the time like 1 second after it was supposed to go live. Constantine said, no, we have to push for 12 hours. And I thought, what? Wait, no, can't do that. And the community hated it, but I think it was all in good faith, good reason, because those pieces, they definitely took quite a while to render. They're robust. If you don't have it yet, if you haven't even seen any of the NFTs yet, please go check out the chats. And I would encourage you to jump in and get your own, because there are some left. What else? I've also noticed in the chats that we have attracted a lot of crypto and NFT fans, which is not surprising, but with such a high level project, I thought we would get more traditional people. So I think starting tomorrow, we're going to have to put a special focus on non-crypto chess fans, really specifically target them to get them into the ecosystem. And most of the activities happening in Discord and Telegram, which of course I don't expect them to have the accounts already, and I don't think they'll really want to make an account just for this, unless they have some friends or communities for a reason to already be there. But so I think I'm going to start pushing the team on creating a Facebook account, because the traditional crypto, traditional chess fans are definitely going to be there. If on any medium, this is a good social platform to connect with them. And of course, traditional routes with media, the Medium articles, blogs, sending out there and targeting more high profile outlets. Maybe we can do some paid promotion in Bloomberg and things like that to really get under their noses. So I'd also like to point out that this is not a short-term project. There are a lot of people who have been coming into the community, and either maybe they're not reading the assets, the things that we have out there, the Medium articles, or they don't scroll up in the chat when we're discussing it. But I really have to stress that this is not a short-term project, and it's just going to grow. We're going to be adding physical items as well. There's going to be autographed items. There will be items from the chess matches themselves, like score sheets and pens, that we're also going to have on the platform. So it's really going to take off. And I also noticed that a couple chess grandmasters had started following us, ChessNFT, on Twitter, which is huge. So soon, hopefully, we're going to get their support. The FIDE team themselves, their Twitter, they're retweeting us, and I'm in direct contact with their social team. So we're going to keep building out some avenues there. And I also wanted to point out that there was a fair amount of people who had come into our Discord not knowing anything about Everscale, not knowing anything about us, community, or anything. They're just coming in for the project, and they expect to pay with ETH. And yes, you're able to do it. And then they go through the process, and they think, well, they see the gas fees, and they see that there are, it's a bit slower and the fees are higher. And so they ask, is there another way? Yes, with Ever. And you could just go into Surf, use a credit card or whatever. You could buy the Evers, and voila, it is so much faster, so simple. It's 2 cents to go through all of this and mint it. And so people are just starting to get to know this. People who had no idea about Everscale, people are just starting to realize this, and this is very exciting. So I just want to encourage everybody to please keep pushing, spread the word, join the community, get in our Discord and chat, and support it, because this is a huge project for Everscale and the whole community. And it's just, if not this, how are we going to get some really good new blood into the ecosystem? This is a great partnership. So we cannot let anything fall through the cracks under the table. And if perhaps you want to be a moderator or you want to get involved somehow, I'm sure that we can discuss it. I'm sure the team would be cool with it. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. And if you, of course, have Evers, you should use them, I think, for buying some really cool NFTs. Yeah.
Thank you, Joanne. Awesome.
Can I add just a couple of things,
Yeah.
Ron, just before I'm completely
Absolutely.
off
There you are, the dark side of the moon.
Yeah. I was just going to echo what Joan said. Look, an international sports federation.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Right.
You're going out.
Versus
Robot voice.
Oh, Alex.
trusted us. Am I?
Or maybe turn off your video. Uh-oh, he's frozen.
Okay. In the meantime, yeah. Alex, you there?
Turn off your video, Alex. Try again. I think he froze.
He did.
Oh, he might try again.
We'll come back. Okay. We'll type. Okay. He said we'll type.
All right, well, just quickly.
No, I'll just type. I'll just type. Yeah.
I was just going to
sound fine now.
I just wanted to add very quickly, you mentioned about it being long term. I've been speaking a lot with the people, obviously involved with this, as you have, Joe. Constantine has just made a very subtle hint about a Minters Club. So this could be a bit of a clue about what's going on. So again, check this out. Like I say, there's going to be some long-term benefits I'm trying to get for people who are involved in this.
What are you not telling us? I'm kidding. All right. Listen, well, this call is just going famously. We had one cancellation, and I understand Anastasia is not able to connect. So I think what we're going to do here is we're going to do the logical thing. We're already an hour in. Anastasia and No Name, if you can hear me, I think what we'll do is, with your permission, we're going to move your presentation to next week's call, which actually makes my life easier because it's one less thing to schedule. Same goes for, we were going to have I'm not going to say it. We were going to have a really, really cool presentation. There was a mix up in time, I guess, on the part of the presenter, which we're also going to move to next week. So to keep from keeping everybody on this call for yet another half hour, let's do our weekly Ben's Bits segment. And for that, I go to the Benster himself. Please show us your best bits, Ben.
Well, I prefer to tell rather than show. Let's get this. It's very quick. Malta. So as we all know, it was a really good event. I don't know how good connection was whilst we were doing the walk around. But for those who didn't see last week's call, what we actually had was two sides to the event going on. So you had gaming, as in gambling and, all that kind of crazy world, and obviously cryptocurrency. So just personally, and I know for the rest of the guys and girls who were there, we spoke to some absolutely fascinating people who, again, long-term speaking, are very, very interested in what we're doing and looking very closely at our technology and more. Going gaming projects, DeFi, impact projects, just to read a couple off the list. So my favorite topic, podcasts, KWPC show. Myself and the lovely Anastasia, my co-host, were in the same place at the same time, which is insane, isn't it? And so we've had lots of face-to-face discussions this week. There's lots of stuff going on. Obviously, the initial launch show happened a few weeks back. I get a lot of messages every day. When's the first show? Most likely, we're going to be aiming for very early in the new year. Like I say, the big part of this now is due diligence. I can't say that. Due diligence. And, really cementing this pipeline of projects. Like I say, this again is a long-term project, hence, the lockup and the way it was done. Those of you who are there will know. Never mind the shit coins. Awesome. I did it live in Malta. We got, there was about 12 people playing along. I've been pulling my hair out till 2 a.m. trying to edit this because there was so much background noise, and I was kind of drunk by the end. I say kind of drunk, microphone. So, hopefully I can pick up a few more audio editing skills to make the final few minutes actually listenable. But that should be coming out very soon. As I mentioned earlier, I did another outside podcast with the very good people of Hacker Noon in terms of blockchain basics or blockchain for beginners. So just to give some kind of relevance to this, it's the 5th show in a series they're doing. So the first one was the nature of money. The second one was blockchain. third one was Bitcoin, fourth one was Ethereum, the fifth one was unofficially, I was representing altcoins and shitcoins, hence the kind of link to the podcast. But obviously, I spoke a hell of a lot about Everscale and what we're doing. And, it's going to be a really good show. Amy, who works for them, is a fantastic host. Right, so there was also another podcast I'm doing, which is a video podcast for the very good people at Blockster. Again, lots of cross stuff going on there. Those of you who know Mr. Mark Feldman will be coming on a show with me to talk about Web3 as opposed to Web3 and all this kind of exciting stuff we're building. So again, lots of good stuff going on there. Kind of off topic of that, so that's the last of the podcast bits. Community voice. Obviously, they had a bit of a call last night. Maybe a bit defunct in light of everything that Mitja's been saying, but like I say, it's a proposal at this stage, so I had it on my list. I'm going to mention it. Right, and sort of speaking of streamlining or experiments were held, as Ron alluded to, Discord. I've been doing a lot of actual serious work apart from just making rude sex jokes on a podcast as well. I've been looking a lot at, successful community models, all these very boring kind of diagrams and blah, 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 community maturity models. I've got a lot of kind of ideas, which obviously are coming more from a Ton Lab side of things, I was a little bit worried because Mitja was being a bit enigmatic with me about what he was working on, but yeah, I think we're all singing from the same hymn sheet here to the main degree. But yeah, I've greenlit a few things of there, like I say, working on drafts, that kind of thing. Anyone who wants to see more or hear more. But like Ron said, a big part of this is going to be streamlining, our chats, our conversations, our community. We're everywhere, in every bloody chat, having conversations. We need to decentralize streamlining. I don't know if that's a coin a phrase anyone's coined yet, but yeah. So more on that soon, basically. And that's my bits. Lots of very quick bits.
Thank you, BenBit. Awesome, quick, excellent, wonderful. Thank you. As always, you rock. So the first question I have is, does anybody on this call have a question for any of the presenters or comment? If not, let's go to YouTube questions. And the first one, so, my Russian is a little shady. And I got an answer. So he asked a question, I didn't understand it, and the answer is he's joking. Okay, understood. He's a troll. Well, let's not call people trolls. He's just he said something. Is this meetup only in English? Yes, it is. So every Tuesday, but it is in English. I believe we do or did have one in other languages, but yeah, English, my friend. Another question is, will we burn giver contracts? No, I don't think that was ever brought up. Burn any contracts. Okay.
Is it a question to me?
I think it's just a general question. I mean, I guess, but I mean, I can answer it. No. Let's see. We have a question in 2 parts, and yeah. So, Wiki SubGovernance paid the participants of the second Wiki update contest number 36 at the end of September 2021. Only part of the tokens due. Okay. Because at the moment they were exhausted. Okay, so basically, so there weren't enough tokens. Look, see, this is a classic example of a subgovernance that didn't work, unfortunately. Okay, so that shouldn't have happened, and that's not the way to run a subgovernance. So this is what Mitja was talking about. This is, I think, yet another. Thank you for your question, but you're basically just proving the point, which is that they are inefficient, and the amounts, your second part of the question, the amount owed, let's make something clear. There's no such thing as owed. right? There are no contracts, not a corporation. You didn't sign any contracts, you're not an employee. But this is the problem, is that some governances have run in a way where it feels like it's a corporation, like you think you work for them. You don't. There are no jobs. I've said this a million times. You're not an employee. You know, if you need to work, you have to go work. It's prizes for contests. I don't see what's owed, but if it's owed by the Wiki subgovernance, then I think you need to talk to their members, and maybe they can buy some Ever tokens to pay you if you're owed that. I think that would be the right thing to do, because of what they did was overpromised and underdelivered. They're at fault. That's my view. Mitja, if we follow your path, can we have problems with the SEC? Mitja.
No. What? Why? You never have problems with the SEC. I mean, this problems with the SEC is completely overblown thing in general. I mean, we're far away from having problems with the SEC. There is nothing in what we do that potential any problems with the SEC. Nothing in what we wanted to do is not potential to SEC. Nothing that we said there might be a problem with SEC could actually have a problem with SEC. Just forget the SEC. just do your stuff.
I mean, I understand where he's come from. Maybe a little vague on how the Telegram thing worked. Look, the idea behind the problem with the SEC was always the fact that they recognized that Telegram and Ton, the original version, was a security. You know, we're not. So that's it. Problem gone. I hope that answers your question. Another person says, first thing first, present yourself. Okay. I don't know.
Is he requesting I show Ben's bits? Sorry.
Present yourself, Ben. From the bottom up.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's my other job.
I don't know what that means. I apologize. I don't know how to respond to that. I have a question about Cefion. Now you have increased up to 150,000 subscribers in the official Telegram group of Cefion. Wow, that's actually cool. From our analytics, we decided most of the subscribers are fake. All right, can I, let's not address this now. Cefion was going to make a presentation today. Unfortunately, due to technical problems that led to an overextended call, we're at 1 hour and 11 minutes now. We're just not going to have time today. Cefion is going to be back next week, I believe. I hope. I think I got confirmation on that while we're doing this call. They'll be back next week. Why don't you come back next week, same time, and ask your question. This individual continues. Okay, so these are all questions.
Most of the projects that we're partnering with are. That's the fact. That's the reason for my proposal, actually.
Yeah, but hold on. Okay, like let's let Cefion, let's give them their turn to first present, and then we can talk about these questions. So there are 4 questions in a row, and they're all to Cefion. So Everscale man, please come back next week. Okay, that's when the presentation will happen, and by that time we'll be able to address those questions. I hope that's okay. I hope that satisfies you for today. You know, we're just running out of time, and unfortunately that presentation won't happen. And that's it. Sorry we ran over. Apologies for the cancellations, but shit happens. That's the world we live in. So we're going to come back next week, and we'll have at least 2 really good presentations for you. And I know that there's going to be a lot of talk about other things that we initiated today. So I want to say thank you to everybody. We love you all. Every move that the community makes is always in the interest of making everybody happy, and the community to grow, and for people to onboard onto the network, and hopefully, maybe, who knows, make a bunch of money in the process. But there's no guarantee without you. I think that's it. Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. See you.
Thank you, everybody.
That's all. Rock on. See you.
Until
Thank
next
you.
week.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.